Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hey, and welcome to Dr. G Speaks. I am Dr. Kristen Guillory, and I am so very excited to help you experience a life of freedom, faith, and fun you may not even realize is possible. Listen, I know you feel held back, I know you feel stuck, and I know you are hiding. As a coach and the author of Look, Stop Hiding, How to Find Your Voice and Never Dim Your Light Again, you will get to listen to some amazing stories, receive some homework, that's the professor in me, and get some tools to help you live the life you deserve. It's time to quiet the noise and walk in the fullness of who God created you to be. It's time to stop hiding and start thriving. Together, we'll uncover your potential and ignite your journey to a fulfilling life, a life of freedom. Last week, I led my signature 5-day challenge called Speak, Serve, and Get Paid, and it was just beyond everything. It was amazing. And one of the questions that was posed to me was, Dr. Guillory, how did you get to this point of being comfortable charging your fees and charging like premium fees? And I appreciated the question because it allowed me to really think about that and go back to what got me on this journey. And before I gave my long answer that I'm about to tell y'all, I said to the group, honor where you are. I believe in honoring where we are. I have worked with speaker clients and clients who are coaches and consultants, and we honor where you are. There seems to be an idea that out the gate, you need to be comfortable charging $5,000, $10,000, $1,000. But if that's not where a person is in the moment energetically, we honor where they are. Because I would rather someone say, let me get up to that point than feel like they were pushed out of the window and they're just so uncomfortable and uneasy. Now, listen, I don't necessarily believe that you have to be comfortable with your fees. I actually believe there needs to be a level of discomfort, but not just I feel sick doing this. I'm not energetically there, and that's okay. I had a client years ago who had been speaking for 20 years. He is so gifted and so amazing, and he had never charged. He participated in my next level group coaching experience, and we were working on our fees one day. And the group knew that their numbers needed to start at a certain level. And when it got to be his turn, hey, what is your fee? He said $500. And I just said, excuse you? And he was just, Dr. Guillory, this is really difficult for me to do this. And I said, I hear you. Thank you for working on it. You know you should be charging $5,000. And if this is where you are, we're going to honor this. That was in April. Fast forward to November or December of that year. He sends me an email and he said, I just need to celebrate this with you. I sent my contract in to someone and it included my fee. I crossed it out because I was going to do this engagement pro bono, but that's the first time I ever said or displayed a fee. That was massive for him because he had to work through money mindset blocks and belief blocks and scarcity mindset. And so it's so much more than here's your fee, charge it today. I was so proud of him for continuing to move in this journey. Fast forward, y'all, to June of the next year. And I do a check-in with him. Hey, I just want to check in. How you doing? What's going on? And he said, I was recently booked to lead a talk and my fee was $5,000 and they are going to pay it. And he said, Dr. Guillory, I feel like that's not enough. I said, excuse you? What? And we talked about his new number. And I just bring that up to say literally a year before, he was nervous about charging $500. Fast forward 1 year, and he's saying $5,000 isn't enough. What he continued to do was work. What he continued to do was work on his mindset, remove blocks, surrender things. And so that's part of pricing. We all have a money story, as Tracy Timberlake, who is a money mindset coach, says we all have that. So it's not just as simple as saying a number. My journey, I remember just 13 years ago, I was invited to be the lead speaker, the keynote speaker for a church conference. And this is 2012. It was August 2012. And I said the fee at that time, My fee was only $500. And I said the number and I immediately said, "Oh, but if it's too much, we can talk about it." I was so nervous about numbers. At that time, one of my team members, Taylor Covington, shout out to her, who is 14 or so years younger than me, she would say to me very often, "Dr. Guillory, we are not about to accept any more of these rinky-dink offers. We are not about to accept these little $300 offers. Do you know who you are?" And I was so nervous about missing the opportunity because I was leaning into scarcity mentality. I remember thinking, I would rather accept this $100 than nothing at all because I knew I had a gift, but I did not recognize the value. I did not believe that I deserved to be paid for the gift and my high level expertise. It was early 2015, and I was invited to lead a half day training for an organization. At that point, my fee for a half day training was $1,500. I had a conversation with my dad, and he said, "Kristen, based on this and the amount of people and the amount of time, you need to charge 5,000." What? I was like, "Are you crazy? 5,000? I cannot do that." So I took a moment to think and pray, and I decided to charge 4,000. So I sent the email and said, "Here's my fee." And I spent the next 2 days freaking the freak out. I was freaking out because I was like, I just left my professor position in this huge step of faith in August of the previous year. I would rather have the $1,500 than no money at all. Oh my gosh, they're not going to pay me. I was at my sister's house and my brother-in-law saw me and he says, "Sis, what's wrong?" I said, "Oh, I charge too much. They're not going to pay me." And he said, "Well, first of all, they're the ones who reached out and they can negotiate." And then he said, "But sis, you have a PhD, you have all this experience. You really should have charged more." And I appreciated hearing that. And I was still nervous. I was still thinking, well, they're going to say no because the director told me that they were going to get back to me the next day. I sent the email on Wednesday. I did not hear back on Thursday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going with somebody else. We get to Saturday, actually. So Friday, I don't hear anything. And I messaged them back on Friday and said, "Hey, if you need to talk about anything connected to the fee or any adjustments, let me know." I am landing back. So I am returning to Dallas from Atlanta. I'm in the airport. I check my email, and the email said, "Pardon my delay. I have been in meetings and had to get approval from the board for the amount. If this is what you're charging, absolutely. We need you. Send the contract and we'll move forward." I am not an overly excitable person, but when I saw that, I said, "Oh my gosh." In the airport, I kind of flipped because I could not believe that I was getting ready to be paid $4,000. I get in the car, I call my dad and I tell him, and he said, "Oh my gosh, that's great. I would not have even charged that." "What? What the heck? You're the one who told me to do this, son." And he was like, "Sometimes you need people to see in you what you don't see." And that was a game changer for me that entire week, that process of increasing my fee from 1,500 to 4,000 and just knowing, wait a minute, not only can I do this, I do it well and I deserve to be paid. Well, I was still working on that muscle because about a month later, another organization reached out to me and they wanted me to lead a training. And they told me that their budget was 3,000. And I said, "Well, my fee for this is 4,500, but no worries. We can work something out. I'll accept the 3,000 and we can do a bartering. Use space at the facility. You can allow me to do this and this." Well, they emailed me back a few days later and they said, "Dr. Guillory, the board is not going to approve of you using facility space. So it looks like we're going to pay you your rate of 4,500. So y'all, I'm sure that you and others, your response would have been excitement, right? "Oh my gosh, they're going to pay the full rate." That wasn't mine. I freaked out. I emailed them back and said, "Oh, let me honor my original agreement and I'm going to just charge you 3,000." I went walking with my best friend about a week later and she said, "Girl, why did you do that? Why did you give them a discount and they said they could pay your fee?" And I said, "Girl, well, I just wanted my yes to be a yes. I just wanted my yes to be a yes." Well, that wasn't true. And I wasn't ready to admit the truth. I don't think I admitted the truth to myself for at least 9 months. And the truth was, I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't think that what I was doing was worthy of $4,500. I was still working that muscle. And it's taken me a minute to get to where I am, where it is easy for me to mention a fee of, 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, whatever it is for the package. And it's taken me a minute to get here. And I honor the journey. And for me, money is not number one. I made that mistake one time in 2000, I believe 2017. For probably 4 months during that year, I made money in idle. I was chasing contracts. I remember speaking at a huge event. I was the keynote speaker. I got a standing ovation, 70 or so people in line to meet me. And instead of me being present with these amazing people, my thinking was, who can I talk to so I can be booked to come again? I had turned that audience into dollar signs as opposed to trusting that if my talk is good, it's going to create other opportunities. There is that phrase, your gifts will make room for you. I tell my speaker clients, make sure your talk is creating other talks, which means you need to spend time on your talk. But for me, I was in a scarcity mindset. I was so nervous after leaving my job a few years prior where I needed these contracts. I needed these contracts and I wasn't focused on being present. So for me, there's a rhythm to what I do. Yes, I have premium fees. Yes, I know what my worth is. Yes, I also offer flexibility. Yes, I pray and charge numbers that I'm led to charge. There have been times people have said, Dr. Guillory, I can't believe you charge, like my Speak, Serve, and Get Paid challenge. I can't believe you charged $97 for that. We got so much. And that's an experience I easily could charge $500 for, easily could charge even more. And there's a reason why I charged it. So it's taken me a minute to get to the point of being this comfortable. When I led my first speaker boot camp in April of 2018, this was the first event that I was going to host on my own, not connected to one of my other entities, not connected to a group. It was me. And the first time I'm hosting an event that was over like $100. I think the fee was 115. I gave people discounts. I was so nervous. I had to work that muscle. I had to work that muscle. So the first speaker boot camp was like $115. The second one was maybe 200. The third one, maybe 397. When we got to my seventh one, it was, I believe, 797 or 997 or something like that. And it doesn't mean that I am pimping the gift. It wasn't that. It was I'd added more content. It was tried and true. It was proven. My confidence had increased. So it's taken me a minute to get there. I remember one of the first events I hosted under the umbrella of Cozy Convos, which was a women's ministry organization that I had for many years. And the first events we did were free. The next couple, it was suggested donation $8 because I was so nervous about charging $8, charging $10. And so for me, it's been surrendering mindset blocks. It's been surrendering scarcity mentality. It's been leaning into my gift, my knowledge, my credentials, my expertise, the anointing. It's been leaning into all of that. And so I honor my journey. I honor the time when I did accept engagements that were far less than what I deserved. But here's the thing, I didn't know what it was I deserved. I can't tell you the last time someone reached out to me to ask me to speak at an event for free. That hasn't happened in a very long time. If I am speaking for free, I might have offered it. I can't remember the last time someone reached out to invite me to speak at an event and paying me less than a certain amount. And it is because I believe this energetically. I believe in what I deserve. And it almost repels folks who would approach me with a budget under a certain amount. It doesn't mean that I don't offer flexibility. It doesn't mean that I don't still do pro bono from time to time, but it means that I am aware that God is a God of abundance. Money is abundant. Money flows, and I deserve to be paid for the gift, for the high level expertise, and more. There is a story that is often shared when it comes to pricing, and I love it. And the story is there is a homeowner and the water heater in the home isn't working. There's something wrong with the water heater, and the homeowner contacts a repair person. The repair person comes over, they go to the basement, and they get to the water heater, they take out a tool, and they hit the water heater one time, and it fixes it. They write the bill. The bill is $500. The homeowner says, $500, all you did was hit the water heater. The fix-it person rewrote the bill and wrote $1 for the hit, $499 for knowing where to hit it. That's what it's about when you are working on charging for your expertise. It's not about the time. Anyone who works with me knows that when you work with me in a one-on-one or even a group coaching experience, 20 minutes with me, if you're open to the experience, can massively change things. So it's not, Dr. Guillory, you're charging this amount per hour for a talk. It's not per hour. It is the value of the curated experience. I have a referral program for some of my coaching experiences where if somebody refers someone to one of my certain coaching program, they get a referral fee or referral gift. The fee is $750, or they will get a coaching call with me. Out of the 50 people who have ever been a part of this program, only one took the money. And that person said, Dr. Guillory, the only reason I'm taking the money is because I have some bills I need to pay. Otherwise, absolutely the coaching call. Every person says, I want that call with you because we can make that $750 times 5 after the call with you. They know the value of 30 minutes with me or 45 minutes with me. And it's been a journey that I've had to honor every part of the journey. So if you are someone and you struggle with prices, I have some homework for you. I want you to check your receipts, meaning I want you to write down your credentials, your experience in the area where you are currently working, whatever is the area where you have difficulty charging. What is your experience? For example, if you're a speaker, maybe it's not that you've been speaking for a long time, but what do you want to talk about? What's your experience connected there? How many people have ever benefited from your knowledge? How many trainings have you attended? What have you overcome and what are you overcoming? Any awards that you have ever earned, things that you've done. Look at your credentials and your receipts. And most importantly, look at the heart behind it. Look at the gifts you have attached to it. And remember to honor every place you are where you could say, I deserve to be paid a premium for my high level expertise, and I honor where I am. Because you do deserve it. We do not chase money. Money is never number one. It could be number two. But serving for me, serving at a heart level has to always be number one. And then number two is money. And trust, as I tell my clients, don't get it twisted. I will help you get your coins. You will absolutely get your coins. And serving from a heart level has to be first. The affirmation for this week is, I deserve to be paid a premium for my high level expertise, and I honor every part of my journey. The affirmation for the week is, I deserve to be paid a premium for my high-level expertise, and I honor every part of my journey. Thank you so much for listening to the Dr. G Speaks podcast. Resources can be found at KristenGuillory.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Deuces.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.